Chapter 8, Mishnah 6. The Mishnah lists certain cases where the sages established a standard payment for embarrassing someone. Someone who punches another must give him a selah, 4 zuz, for the embarrassment he caused. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rabbi Yossi Haglili, he must give him a manna, 100 zuz. If he slapped him on his cheek, which is more embarrassing than being punched, he must give him 200 zuz. If he slapped him on his cheek with the back of his hand, which is even more embarrassing, he must give him 400 zuz. If he pulled out his ear, or pulled out his hair, or spat at him and his spit landed on him, or removed his cloak from him, or uncovered the head of a woman in the street, he must give him or her 400 zuz. The Mishnah adds that these amounts are maximums. However, this is the rule. Everything depends on his level of honor. The more honorable the victim, the greater his embarrassment. The amounts listed above are required only if the victim was an important person. People of lesser status suffer less embarrassment and therefore receive smaller amounts. The next Tana disagrees. Rabbi Akiva said even the poorest Jews are considered like noblemen who have lost their wealth, because they are all the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Therefore, the amounts listed above are paid to any victim, regardless of his or her apparent importance. The Mishnah relates an incident where Rabbi Akiva applied his ruling in practice. It once happened that someone uncovered the head of a woman in the street. She came before Rabbi Akiva to judge her case, and he obligated her assailant to give her 400 zuz for her embarrassment, following his view that everyone is paid equally. He said to Rabbi Akiva, "My teacher, give me time to come up with the money." So Rabbi Akiva gave him time. The assailant waited for her until he saw her standing at the entrance of her courtyard where she could be seen publicly. And then he broke a jug in front of her containing an isser's worth of oil. The woman uncovered her head and began scooping up some of the spilled oil and putting her hand on her head to apply the oil to her hair. He set up witnesses to see what she was doing and testify against her, and he came with them before Rabbi Akiva. He said to Rabbi Akiva, "My teacher, to this woman who disgraced herself and uncovered her own head for such a small amount of oil, I must give 400 zuz? She herself has demonstrated that she is not embarrassed to uncover her head in public." Rabbi Akiva said to him, "You have said nothing, i.e. your argument is flawed, because we find that someone who wounds himself, even though he is not permitted to do so, is exempt from liability, as there is no one to pay. Yet others who wound him are liable. Also, someone who cuts down his own saplings, even though he is not permitted to do so, is exempt from liability. Yet others who cut down his saplings are liable. Even though he does not seem to care about his own body or trees, since he injured himself or cut them down himself, others who do the same thing to him are obligated to pay. Therefore, the fact that this woman disgraced herself is not a reason to exempt someone else who embarrassed her."